Hello, and welcome to the APUS Senior Seminar on the Diversity of Life, famed biologist Edward Wilson's seminal text exploring the evolution of biodiversity and its destruction by human actions. In the text, Wilson provides an overview of life, its formation, and the various cycles of creation and extinction that have occurred throughout the Earth's history. Using examples from great and small events and organisms, Wilson cleverly weaves together the story of life and proposes how it may fail if human societies do not change their ways. Wilson begins by providing the reader with a narrative description of small-scale and large-scale annihilations of life, from the fall of a tree in a rainforest up to the destruction of an island by volcanic eruption, and finally to the 5 great extinctions of the last half-billion years, in which 90% of all species living at the time may have perished. In providing these examples, Wilson makes the case that nature can recover from even great extinction. He warns that, while biodiversity can be restored, the time required is tied directly to the scale of the disruption. Unlike localized degradation, which can be restored within a few years, the global destruction that humans can and have inflicted on the planet in just a few human generations cannot be repaired in millions of lifetimes. The second section of the book provides a deep dive into the current scientific consensus surrounding the evolution of organisms and habitat and related theories in biology and ecology. To understand the significance of biodiversity, one must first understand taxonomy, classification, and even the limitations of scientific theory. Wilson points to the large gaps in knowledge that humankind must still overcome if we are to gain a full picture of the formation of Earth and our place within it. The stage Wilson sets before the reader proposes that 90% of all species now living on the Earth have never been described by scientists. From an anthropocentric point of view, no one knows they exist, and many may become extinct before they are understood. In his final section, Wilson lays out the impact of humans on biodiversity. He details the human history and its various encounters with nature and shows how each has resulted in poorer circumstances for the habitats they entered. More recently, the rise of human populations and technology has led to habitat destruction as the most significant cause of extinction, with the introduction of exotic animals into ecosystems as a close second. In providing solutions for this crisis, Wilson seeks to define an environmental ethic which proposes finding greater utility in these diverse species and valuing them also in the services they provide to habitats, which in turn provide services to human societies. By linking the rise of human civilizations to their interactions with the natural world, Wilson hopes to rightfully conflate the survival of biodiversity with the survival of the human species, and leads the direction toward extinction or greater efficiency with a world that must change as one. The year was 1992. The LA riots broke out over the beating of Rodney King. The Summer and Winter Olympics occurred for the last time in the same year. The U.S. intervened to provide humanitarian aid in Somalia. The EU was established, Bill Clinton was elected president, and the International Earth Summit was held in Rio to discuss solutions to the human effect on the environment. It is into this climate that Wilson chose to release this important book, hoping to reach humanity at what he deemed to be the crossroads between salvation and destruction. As a student of ants, Wilson looked into issues of preservation, ecology, and biodiversity in ways different from many in the scientific community, seeking always to find a synthesis between all natural sciences and to guide humanity into a position of greater respect and utility regarding the natural world. When he speaks of a diverse biosystem, he includes all plants and animals, no matter what their size, aesthetic attraction, or value to human society. He is just as concerned about the 30 species of feather mites that live exclusively on the feathers of a particular parrot than he is about the bird or the tree in which the bird lives. From the tiny parasite to the huge tree, all living things are part of an ecosystem, and to a greater or lesser degree, they depend on them for balance. This masterclass of biology and ecology, released in 1992, precipitated the creation of whole new fields of biodiversity and sociobiology, and proposed an environmental ethic that serves as a guide for conservation efforts today. The book provides not just well-reasoned facts and conclusions, but backs them up with concrete examples that are themselves backed by a massive section of notes, which doubles as a bibliography over 35 pages long, with specific notes for each point made and every paper and experiment even tangentially related to his discussion. Wilson's book is very optimistic. Humanity is presented not as evil, but as ignorant, and driven by cultural paradigms originated before the discovery and synthesis of this new information, and ignorance can be overcome. Wilson hopes against hope that education can reverse current economic policies and resource exploitation among both industrial nations and quickly developing nations. And if the human race will stabilize its growth during the next 2 generations, then there is hope. If not, then the sixth great extinction spasm will continue, and biodiversity on this planet will end in an amount of time shorter than any species living today took to evolve, perhaps never to be restored. Thank you.